with if you cross the deep state in either London or Washington with regard to certain issues, Trump, China, COVID, then you really can have hell to pay. And this goes all the way up to high-level people at the CIA. So here, again, two committees of the US Congress, the Select Subcommittee on COVID and the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, as Mark would testify, a very high-ranking committee of the House, they have both written to the sitting director, William Burns, of the CIA, saying, cough up details or we will subpoena you because of what's on screen at the moment. In essence, 7 CIA officers were told to work out what their view was on the origin of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. 6 of them made a low confidence assessment, not an absolutely certain, but a low confidence assessment that the COVID virus originated from a laboratory in Wuhan. The sole dissident was the senior member, the 7th member of the team, and thought that it was an animal to human transmission, zoonosis. And the whistleblower, who may not be the leader of the team, but someone else, says that the CIA then bribed the 6 underlings in that team to change their mind. And in the same tweet, which will be in the show notes that covers this letter, we will also be covering, it also shows that the then chief operating officer of the CIA is similarly subpoenaed by name. So they've got to have something to go on. Will it ever happen in Britain? Well, something not that far away has happened in Britain. Guido Fawkes, the blog, has a sub-brand, Media Guido, which together with the Times, for those watching abroad, that's the establishment's newspaper, where often things are a bit more frank than in other papers because it's assumed that the plebs and even the middle class don't read the Times, only the system people do. The Times has gone it alone and named this alleged Chinese spy. This was Chris Cash, who studied in China before working for Alicia Kearns, the very hawkish chairwoman of the Parliamentary Foreign Affairs Committee. And of course, in great secrecy, he was arrested. MPs were not told, a huge infringement of parliamentary privileges. And as a result, he put out this lawyer's statement saying, well, you can read it if you freeze the screen, but he's absolutely denying it all. Guido, which is usually a rah-rah up the Tories blog with little discernment, I would have to say, is actually shocked enough this time to say, and think of what you just covered there with the raid, Brian, that Chris Cash seems to be subject to a blanket ban on naming, even, or rather despite the fact that the Times has named him. And it's not the first time, Brian, we've come to the conclusion that the Times gives people inside the system the line to take, and the rest told to shut up about it. It's rather concerning, particularly given that the Times has also, we now find, been onto the Conservative Party, telling them successfully, you must drop these 2 candidates from your election candidature lists because we think they could be working for Peking. Evidence, of course, was not given to the public. And I just have to put it back to you with this, because you know so much now about the slippery pole of becoming a Conservative Party candidate, Brian. We are told confidently by the Times, by their Stephen Swinford, their political editor, that Tory candidates are vetted by the party. No mention of the intelligence services there. They're subject to criminal record checks and an in-depth due diligence report, and are interviewed to assess their political judgment, experience, and integrity. Brian, they must have missed something out there, but it wouldn't be the first time.
Well, no, and of course the fact that the party is vetting who is going to stand as a candidate means you're only going to get somebody who is deemed acceptable to the party. When I stood as an independent, of course, I didn't get any media coverage. There was simply a blanket ban, all apart from 6 seconds on BBC Radio Devon. So a lot to talk about in that area, but clearly we can't trust the system inside or outside of politics. Now, for our audience, if you like what we do, please support the UK Column, join us, subscribe. You can join the community for UK Column and see what's happening. You can make a purchase from the UK Column shop. That would help us. But of course, we say to you, please share all of the information as widely as possible. That is a big boost for us doing what we do. Now, just a reminder that Mike is going to be in Sweden Saturday, the 30th of September, coming up, On Guard for the Liberty of Mankind. This is a symposium by the Children's Health Defence Europe and the Doctors' Appeal. We've got some faces here of people taking part, which includes Andrew Bridgen MP, which will be interesting. And of course, we'll keep you posted on what comes out of that valuable conference. So there's the web address if you want to go and have a look and get more information for yourself. Now, coming up on the 19th, we've got an interview with Ben Rubin. He's been interviewed by David Scott previously on matters to do with AI. In this case, Debbie Evans is talking to him. And in particular, they'll be having a look at the future of Britain and Tony Blair's Institute for Global Change to have a look at what is planned for mankind. None of it looks too good, I don't